So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that these meetings can contribute to the further efforts on citizenship education as well as human rights education, both informal and non-formal education in Europe, and our common effort on networking European citizenship education and human rights education. And I wish you a pleasant stay in Vienna and successful meetings.
In Vienna this weekend, around 230 people from 35 nationalities met up for the DARE conference. The goal of this meeting was not only networking opportunities, but also to improve the access to information while developing an efficient framework European policies in the subject.
What we do, we implement a program that is called the Program Education for Democratic Citizenship and Human Rights. And it means that we encourage all the member states, 47 of the Council of Europe, to incorporate into their school systems, into the curricula, teaching about human rights, about how to participate in democracy. And we provide also tools to help them to do this.
Among the activities of the many workshops were organized. On Friday, we went to one of them, which was dealing with teaching complex issues. 2 experts from 2 countries were leading it, presenting different approaches.
And to show them or give them teaching units so they can teach it adequately.
Approaches help, obviously the ones we've heard in the presentation.
Personally, I'm here to talk about one particular project which I've talked about, but I'm also kind of very interesting to learn about the education system in different countries and the different kind of stumbling blocks that they have, particularly with democratic education. And why I think this is important is that until recently, most countries have pursued civic education along their national lines, and teaching approaches have been seen within a particular country for a country. Now, for the first time with the project which I'm talking about, the idea is to develop teaching materials which could be used in any European country. Now, this is new.
You will think about a secret.
On Saturday, the workshops were longer, and we discovered the Theatre of the Oppressed, a Brazilian-born movement which was presented by French activist Laura de Witt.
And to be in love with a girl is the first time for me, but it happened.
It gave me lots of ideas to use in my education work with the youth and the children. And the themes that were chosen actually were very nice.
After we have met in Budapest, and like 3 or 4 months later, I had a friend of me who requested to marry me. And
no, I understand.
What I didn't like is, maybe because I am from a human rights background, is that all the scenes that were reflecting, as we have the discussion, like stereotype things, and there was little about new what we are working to change. So there are little only views about changes that happened in these themes, and this means that we still have lots of to struggle for.
Quite later was the press conference where we met 2 members of the European Parliament. It was a good opportunity to ask them one wish they might have for the future of democracy and human rights in Europe.
It's a tricky question.
My wish is that the kids of today have a chance to get really in touch with the vision of the European Union. Otherwise, this case will be lost. So we need all these young people, and therefore I think we should invest as much as we can in education, in non-governmental work, in the civil society, and therefore we need a little bit more money to do so. And that's my wish. That's my wish, because if we don't do it, my grandchildren will not have the same possibilities as my children had.
For me, it's important that people, especially youth, should understand that we have the only chance with the European Union to continue peace, to continue also a social balance, to achieve a social balance inside the European Union, and to have a perspective for the future.
At the end of the afternoon, an adult theatre performance was given to the audience.
The playback theatre, coming originally from the roots, are very ancient. It's about telling and sharing stories. So you can imagine, a very long time ago, there were space and time for people just to be together, just to listen, just to share. And so that's the roots of playback theatre. Many hundreds years later, Moreno, he established the psychodrama. And before that, so as he experimented with stories, he recognized that it has a healing potential. It's not only nice to share and to see, but it creates community among people.
So I came here because there were certain issues that we don't address properly in the French program, like homosexuality or homophobia. We hadn't really worked on that. And I saw that there were some interesting workshops on these topics, so I really wanted to hear how other people have worked on these issues. How do you talk about it? How do you address certain tensions that come when you talk about it? I found very, very interesting people who were super creative and fun and efficient on that level. So I'm very happy myself about this whole thing.
The conference, I liked it very much because the people come with different backgrounds and you can learn useful things from different people. For instance, when we have discussions, then you see different perspectives and new ideas, knowledge, and that's very interesting.
On Sunday morning, after a free evening useful for networking, a plenary session took place where speakers talked about human rights and racism.
However, we also live today in an age where such detrimental ideologies do not remain uncontested.
My goal in this conference, we have in the past year started to develop projects and tools in the field of human rights education. And since this conference is about human rights education, I thought it would be a good opportunity to discuss our approach and also to present our principles of human rights education.
It's just obviously it's a short time, so we could have done it much longer and get deeper into that subject, but then it's like a tool and that we have to reappropriate for any kind of initiative we all have in our different kind of projects.
This 3-day conference was a pretty good success according to organizers and participants. 2009 will be full of events, among them a public hearing in the European Parliament, as well as a Spring Academy for staffers and volunteers in adult learning.